The app was, by any engineer's definition, trivial. It took text from a box, sent it to a language model with a careful instruction, and showed the result. A senior developer could rebuild it in a weekend. The founder was 19 and not a senior developer. By the time the tech crowd started sneering the words "just a wrapper," the app had crossed $1 million in revenue. The people paying did not know it was a wrapper. They did not care. They had a problem, and this was the only place that solved it in one click. Start with the insult, because it is the whole misunderstanding. In developer circles, a wrapper is a thin layer of software around someone else's model. The model does the hard part. You just pass the request through. The implication is that there is no real business there, that anyone could build it, that it dies the moment the model maker ships the same feature. All technically true. And almost none of it matters to the person holding a credit card who needs the problem gone today. Here is what engineers miss, because they are engineers. The model is not the product. It is an ingredient. A general-purpose model can do 10,000 things, which means it does none of them obviously. The wrapper picks one thing, removes every choice, writes the perfect instruction the user never could, and presents it as a finished tool for one job. The value is the deletion of everything except the answer the user wanted. That deletion is design, and design is not trivial. Now, the part that made the money. Distribution. The founder picked an audience first, before writing a line of code. A narrow group in a specific corner of the internet with a sharp recurring pain. Then they went where that group already gathered. A subreddit, a Discord, a handful of niche forums. They posted the tool not as an and, but as an answer to questions people were already asking. The first 100 customers came from threads where someone said, "I wish there was a tool that did this," and now there was. The narrowness was the strategy, not a limitation. A broad tool for everyone competes with every other broad tool, including the free model itself. A tool for one profession with one recurring task competes with nothing, because the big players consider that niche too small to bother with. Too small for a billion-dollar company is the right size for a 19-year-old who needs $1 million. The founder did not want the whole market. They wanted a market no one large enough to crush them would even look at. Pricing was the second quiet decision. The app did not charge for the model, which cost cents per use. It charged for the outcome on a monthly subscription because the user was not buying tokens. They were buying the disappearance of a task that ate 2 hours of their week. $20 or $30 a month against 2 saved hours is an obvious yes. The margin between what the model cost and what the outcome was worth was the business, not the technology. The obvious objection arrived on schedule. What happens when the model maker ships this for free? Sometimes they do, and some wrappers die. But 2 things protect the survivors. The model maker builds for everyone, so their version is generic and the niche tool stays sharper. And by the time the giant notices, the wrapper owns the customer relationship, the workflow, the data, and the trust. The user does not want to rebuild around a worse general tool. Switching is friction, and friction you own is a moat thin code could never give you. Honesty check, because this channel does not sell fairy tales. For every wrapper that hit $1 million, hundreds made nothing. The ones that died usually died the same way. They built first and looked for an audience second. They picked a niche so broad it overlapped the free tools. They competed on the model instead of the distribution. The survivors were almost never the best engineered. They aimed at a real audience with a real wallet before the first commit. The skill that paid was marketing, not machine learning. There is a defensibility you can actually build, and it is not the code. It is the data and workflow you accumulate around the user. A wrapper that remembers preferences, learns from past inputs, and integrates into their other tools becomes harder to leave every week. The model stays interchangeable underneath. You can swap the engine anytime. What the user is locked into is the surrounding system you built, the part that has nothing to do with the model at all. If you wanted to copy the 19-year-old, the order is the lesson. Find the audience first. Sit in their forums until you can recite their complaints from memory. Pick the one recurring task they hate most. Build the thinnest tool that erases it. Charge for the outcome, not the tokens. Distribute by being genuinely useful where they already gather. Then build the workflow lock-in slowly. The model is the easy, replaceable part. Everything that makes money is the unglamorous work around it. The deeper point survives every model upgrade. Technology gets commoditized, distribution does not. The next models will be smarter and cheaper, and that helps the wrapper, not the giant, because the wrapper's cost drops while its customer relationship stays. The people who win the AI gold rush will not mostly be the ones who built the best models. They will be the ones who reached a specific person with a specific problem first and refused to let go. Just a wrapper. The phrase was meant as an insult, and it described $1 million business. The engineers were right about the code and wrong about everything that mattered. The founder did not outbuild anyone. They outreached everyone into a corner of the market too small for the giants to defend and too painful for the customers to ignore. The model was free for anyone to use. The audience was not. That is the whole secret, and it has been the secret in every technology shift before this one. If the distribution lesson hit episode 28, the indie devs shipping AI apps in a weekend and netting $5,000 a month runs the same play on mobile. It is on this channel. The model was never the moat. The person you reached first was.